I'll be honest, I'm not here to bewilder you with a myriad of meaningless Geekbench scores that form a far from accurate real-world representation of working on this machine. Instead, through the medium of vaguely factual entertainment, I'm going to demonstrate what it's actually like to use on the daily. Straight off the shelf with no customization, this is the top tier 21.5-inch 4K iMac, featuring a 6-core i5 processor, 8GB of memory, dedicated graphics card, and a 1TB Fusion drive. Around the back we have an Ethernet port, although of course this thing has Wi-Fi built in, 2 Thunderbolt 3 or USB-C ports, and 4 of the old school USB 3 ports. All this sits alongside a very valuable SD card slot and the traditional headphone socket. If, like me at this point in the video, you're screaming at your screen consumed by a deep and burning desire to have answered your most desperate questions, then haul hard as I hit you with a metaphorical hammer of stats. This beast will load Photoshop in a mere 11.63 seconds, Lightroom in a mind-bending 19.95 seconds, Premiere in a slightly laggier 31.32 seconds, and boot up from a complete shutdown in less than 27 seconds. If you need to load 8K ProRes RAW footage in under 10 seconds, well then you've clicked on the wrong video. This machine is for serious enthusiasts who want a decent level of editing performance without having to sell your NAN to pay for it. But seriously, one thing I should point out before I start, all my footage is stored on an external SSD, which I have connected to my iMac via USB-C. I'm also saving the working project files back to the project folder on the same SSD. So this means all the media is being read from this device via USB-C for faster speed, processed via the program in the iMac, then saved right back here. But why is all this palaver with connecting external drives necessary? Well, the off-the-shelf version of this iMac only ships with a 1TB Fusion drive, which for photo and video editing is about as slow as a sleeping sloth. This workaround with a portable solid-state drive vastly improves the speed at which data can be read and written during the editing process. Why, however, Apple think it is still acceptable to ship a machine in 2020 with old-school mechanical hard drives is another question. Yet I would still rather perform unspeakable acts with root vegetables than use Windows 10. Now, back to the good stuff. On my timeline in Premiere Pro, I have some 4K clips. This is a real-time screen recording to show exactly how this 2019 iMac performs when tackling some basic editing tasks, such as scrubbing through a timeline, trimming clips, applying basic transitions, and throwing on some basic color correction. As you can see, I'm experiencing no lag or delays when working with the 4K footage. I wholeheartedly believe that your computer is no more than a tool, and the sharper that tool, the easier it allows your creativity to flow. Your editing device should get out the way, and the moment it interrupts the flow of creativity with heavy lag or endless loading bars is the moment you're no longer creating at your best. Let's jump into Lightroom. Some basic editing and adjustment is handled with ease by this iMac, with no lag or buffering. If you want to do far more complex work with multi-layered compositing, I would look at one of the more powerful models. But for most image developing, this machine will do just fine. Even with only 8GB of memory, I've really not noticed it struggling, especially with basic multi-layered editing and retouching. Realistically, the iMac has been at the centre of this kind of creativity for decades, and whilst this design has remained unchanged for a good portion of that, you can't deny it's still a thing of beauty with its slim aluminium curves and minimalist design. And that's one of the reasons I can't help but love this thing. It looks great, anywhere. And speaking of looking great, that gorgeous Retina P3 4K display capable of over 1 billion colours, there really is no need for a colour calibration. And of course, it's sharp. As the Retina name tag suggests, rendering text as if you are reading the printed page, it's undisputedly the king of integrated displays. So then, would I recommend the 21-inch 4K iMac? Yes, of course I would, but only the Fusion drive one though. Don't waste your money on anything less, or ideally, pay to upgrade to the 256 SSD at least. But if that's not an option, then absolutely get yourself an external SSD and edit off that instead. I hope that's answered your most burning questions on my new editing machine, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.